It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the Eastside Real Estate Team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. It is a rainy Wednesday, February 5th. Make it stop, Brian. Make it stop.
What year, Dan?
Let's see, 2020.
Got it.
I got it. I nailed it this week. Yep. Hey, listen, folks, we are glad that you joined us today. In addition to listening to us on the radio, we are live streaming on YouTube. You can check us out on 1150 KKNW on their YouTube channel. And if you're looking to listen to past episodes, you can always listen to our podcasts on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. Additionally, we have videos of each broadcast available on our website, theeastsiderealestateteam.com, or on our YouTube channel. Simply search for the Eastside Real Estate Team, and if you like what you hear, please subscribe. We've got another great show today, Brian. I'm looking forward to it.
We've got a full house.
A full house today, big time. So first off, we're going to have PJ Glassy of the X Gym and Bruce Flemmer of Michael Bruce Consulting, along with Pamela and Beck, his entourage. So we're going to have some fun, but before we get to our guest today, as always, it's time for some Real Talk. And in today's Real Talk segment, we're talking about the number one reason it's difficult to find your dream home. Brian?
The headlines in real estate today all revolve around one major point. There's a shortage of homes available for sale. Price appreciation is beginning to accelerate again because of the shortage. It's a supply and demand issue. There's fewer homes available right now, largely because people are holding off. There's just, often people are looking for the replacement home before they go on market. So people looking at lower price points are the ones that are really finding the most difficulty. Boomers are staying in their current homes longer because of that shortage. And in certain markets, affordability is becoming more challenging because of the shortage available for sale.
So, Brian, the most common question we're getting is, what's the major reason for this lack of housing inventory? And the issue was recently examined by an article at the National Home Builders Association. And in that article, Robert Dietz, chief economist for the National Builders Association, he said this: home building in the 2010s was a story of a long recovery. After the Great Recession, the number of home builders declined significantly and housing production was unable to meet buyers' demand. Years of population and housing formation growth, combined with relatively reduced levels of home building, has left the market in a critical supply of shortage. Check out these numbers, Brian.
Yeah, here are the single-family home construction starts decade by decade for the last 6 decades. The 1960s, 9.3 million construction starts. In the 70s, 11.4 million. 80s, 9.9 million. 90s, 11 million. 2000s, 12.3 million. And here's the big one that'll
That's crazy.
Surprise me. The 2010's 6.8 million. Huge decline.
That's the lowest
right
amount of buildings in over, 60 years?
60 years.
Crazy.
Obviously, there's a current shortage of homes for sale because not enough homes were being built over the last 10 years. To add to the challenge, the U.S. population expanded by more than 20 million people during the 2010s.
So with that kind of supply and, housing formations growing, it's pretty crazy.
Right.
It seems like there's no, like a gray skies of Seattle. Like there's no silver lining, but there is good news. So according to this the new housing board, those guys of that article before, what is it?
NAHB.
NAHB article explains that there's light at the end of the tunnel. How confident home builders are right now makes the difference. And according to them and the Wells Fargo Housing Market Index, it gauges builders' perceptions of current single-family home sales and sales expectations for the next 6 months. Good, fair, or poor. And the survey asks builders to rate traffic of prospective buyers as to high to very high, average, or low to very low. And scores for each component are then used to calculate a seasonally adjusted index with a number over 50 indicates that more builders view good than poor. Okay, that's a very complicated way of saying that the majority of the builders in 2019 have a confidence rating of 76. That's way over 50. And it's the highest it's been. So builders are very very much looking towards building, and that's what we need. I mean, obviously, when our population is like this, and
Right.
I mean, in the 1960s, we had more building than last year. That's
Right.
crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
So in addition to that, low interest rates. Low interest rates affect builders because they need money in order to build homes. So by having low interest rates, it actually allows them to kind of infuse capital into their businesses, building faster, because a certain banks, depending on the project, will only lend a certain amount of
Right.
money for construction. So having a lower interest rates makes the cost of money cheaper, and therefore they can build more.
The increase in housing starts has already begun. According to the January report from the U.S. Census Bureau and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, single-family housing starts were up by 11.2% and attained the highest level in 13 years. Bottom line, whether you're a first-time buyer or a seller thinking of moving up or down, 2020 could be your year with more new construction homes coming to market.
Now, as we have a few minutes left to talk about new construction and the speed of build, we've mentioned this before, so I want our listeners to pay attention. When you go to a new construction site and you're looking at new homes to purchase, understand that in most aspects, the agent on site represents the builder.
Right.
So you need to make sure that you protect your investment and use a buyer's broker, sign a contract with a buyer's broker to represent you at that site. Generally speaking, the builder will still pay the agent. You don't have to pay money out of your pocket, but you're getting representation, because at this quick pace of build with a very tight labor market, you're going to run into a situation where you need to make sure that's a quality built home. And your agent should be able to defend you and make sure that what you're getting is what you expect to get.
Right. You know, Dan and I were talking about one we saw recently that was horrendous.
Yeah.
New construction, just not built to standard.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I mean, I've never seen finished carpentry this bad.
Right,
So,
right.
so make sure that you're reaching out to a professional to help you with that. So that concludes our Real Talk for today. And if you're interested in this and other topics that are covered in our Real Talk segment, you can check out our blog site on the Eastside Real Estate Team /blog. If you'd like to talk with us directly about your real estate questions, feel free to reach out to us at 425-200-4093. Thanks for listening. Next up will be our mortgage moment with our lender. Stay tuned. After our commercial break, we'll hear more about the housing market and Michael Burdick, an experienced loan consultant with Loan Depot. So more Real Talk right after this break.